Hello, ladies and gents. Welcome to episode number 8 in our video series for the JDBC full CRUD application. In the previous video, we implemented the update operations for the car and customer data entities. In this video, we are going to implement as well the update operations for the rental data entity. So the first thing we need to do is, of course, to update our DAO for our rental. So this one, we're going to add another method, static method for updating, and pass in a rental object. So the same, this will also throw an exception. This should be void. And here, of course, we are going to prepare a statement. And the prepared statement is going to be update rentals. We're going to set first the customer ID, car ID, date taken, date returned, and finally the deposit. And of course, we have to put here a where clause of ID to target only one record. Next is we are going to populate the parameters. So first is we're gonna set int, and for first parameter this is the customer ID, and of course we get the customer ID from the customer property in our rental object. And so you say rental dot get customer dot get ID. Same thing for our second parameter. This time we're getting it from the car. Next we're gonna have to set date here for our third parameter. It's taken from rental.get date taken. And the fourth parameter is from date returned. Then we'll also have set float here for our fifth parameter. That's taken from, of course, the get deposit. And finally, have a set int here for our sixth parameter, which is for the ID. So rental.get ID. Alright, and execute this by saying ps.execute query, or execute update, I should say. And finally, we'll close our prepared statement. Now that I thought about it, we also need to close some of our statements here, like this statement and this result set here. We need to close it before we return. So I'll have st.close and rs.close right here as well for this one, for the prepared statement here. After we update, sps.close as well. Just some housekeeping things that we need to do, which I forgot on our previous videos. Now let's proceed with our UI, and in our UI is going to be the rentals form right here on the save, and we're going to do this else here. And in the else here, we're going to have to put a try catch, and we'll just put on something like this right there. Now the first thing we need to do is to update the content of our current object selected, which in this case it is named as current, this one. So here we're gonna say current dot set customer. Now the customer should be taken from the selected customer on the combo box, and to get that we'll simply get the item based on the selected index, so that we get a customer instead of an object. If we do get selected item, it's going to return an object, and we can also parse it into a customer in this case. But I like to do is to get item and pass in an index, which is the selected index, because this one will return immediately a customer object. So we say customer cb dot get item at, and the index is gonna be customer cb dot get selected index. So I'll also do this for car. So current, let's set car. It's gonna be car cb dot get item at car cb dot get selected index, and the rest will be just the same as the previous one. The other models, this is simply current dot set date taken, and since this is a date from a text, it's going to be a parse. So date dot value of, and here we get date taken txt dot get text, and just copy this for the other one, which is for the date returned. So this will be date returned txt. Next is the deposit. So current dot set deposit, and here we pass in the float dot parse float of the amount txt dot get text. And yeah, so next is we're simply going to call now the rental DAO class, the method that we just created earlier, which is rental DAO dot update, and we pass in the current. And then if that is successful, we can just display a message. Let's just copy this one for our message right here. That would say, oh, this is the errors. I should not be copying the errors. Should be this one. Okay, and here the message is going to be rental record has been updated. All right, and after showing the message, we can now call on again the tabulate method to update the content on our table. Now the set date taken and set date returned performs date that value of. These two is bound to throw in an illegal argument exception, so let's catch that also. Before the illegal argument exception, we also need to catch this one. We are going to parse the text into float, and this is also going to throw in a possible number format exception. We'll do that first, because number format exception is actually lower in hierarchy than the illegal argument exception. So we have to do that first. Number format exception, and here just copy this message. Here would be the amount deposit field is invalid, and then below that, we're also gonna catch illegal argument exception. This is now specific for those dates that we have here. So just paste it again here, and the message should be one or two of the dates date fields are invalid. Right. So that takes care of these two statements that may throw in an illegal argument exception if the data entered on these fields do not follow the format of a regular date string that can be converted into a date object. So the next thing we need to do is to try this out, of course. So play this program now, and we open up rentals, and under here let's just click this one up, and we have this data, and let's just say it wasn't the Ford Mustang that Roberto Perez rented. It was actually the Nissan Almera. It was on the 21st of November instead of the 20th, and was returned on the 23rd. And so let's click save here, and it says rental record has been updated. We can check out this table when we click on OK, and there you go, it's updated. Okay. And if, by the way, if we entered a wrong format here, just like as far as we have coded, this should give us a record. Oh, it's still updated. My gosh. Okay. And that's because the changing of the date here, or the code or the text, was not accepted because this is a formatted text. So of course, if you type here a text that is not according to the format, it's not gonna be accepted. So it still uses the previous data which was accepted. But anyway, for example, here in the amount deposited, click on save. We have the amount deposited field is invalid, and let's just use a blank here. Let's try and give yeah. So rental record still updated. Yeah, because it's still not following the format. So it's the formatted text is really very helpful for the validation. All right. So that is it for this video. If you like to see some of this more of this video, please subscribe to my channel and like this video as well. And also don't forget to click that notification bell button so that you'll be notified of new videos that I post. See you again next week. Thank you for watching.